Howdy, folks. Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, and it is a Thursday night live. So, how the hell is everybody? I took a couple days off from doing videos and stuff because I had a shit ton of real life things to take care of. The wife had a couple days off in a row, so uh, got a lot of shit taken care of, and now I'm back. So, um, I don't know if anybody else saw the notification or the announcement that the old Monkey Island franchise is getting a new game. Return to Monkey Island. Uh, that is an old LucasArts title. Let's see here. Let's see here. And I was surprised that it was picked up. That story was picked up by everybody. Monkey Island returns with a new game from original creators later this year. That was a very well thought of game. It was a game by a guy named Ron Gilbert, and everybody that I remember that played it loved that game. I played the first one, and I own all of the whatever there is on Steam. I have all of them, but I did play the Hey Chupa, Hey Bastille, and all of the old LucasArts titles, the classic LucasArts titles. Full Throttle, Grim Fandango, Loom, Day of the Tentacle, all the Star Wars LucasArts stuff and the Indiana Jones stuff. All of that stuff was good. LucasArts was incredible at making games back in the day. I actually, somewhere on my channel, it was one of the very first videos I ever did. So it's like 9-10 years old, however long I've been around. I did when LucasArts, when Disney bought Lucasfilms and Star Wars and everything from George Lucas, LucasArts was part of that. And basically, LucasArts was going to go away because they said that, oh, well, all Star Wars games are going to be made by EA. They had some partnership with EA. So LucasArts was going to go away. So I did a tribute video to LucasArts films, LucasArts, to LucasArts games. And it's somewhere on my channel, way in the back, like 9 years old or something like that. It was a long video too, because I basically dug out all of my old LucasArts discs and all that, and I was going through them all and all that stuff. So if you're inclined, you're welcome to go and find it. Do a search on my channel for LucasArts, and you'll find it. But this Monkey Island game is going to be a return to that franchise. So I saw a lot of people are excited about that. Bastille says, you remember selling it at Electronics Boutique, huh? Yeah, they had great artwork too. I don't know if you remember that, Bastille, from when you sold it and all that. But even the artwork on the boxes and all that, everything was top notch with that kind of stuff. Back in the day, that's back in the as far as I'm concerned, the golden age of gaming back then. So we had that happen. I'm trying to see if we had anything else big earth-shattering stuff that came out. Oh, by the way, for any of you that are watching this, if you haven't already heard, today's one day only, Cyberpunk 2077 is $5. And that is, I don't know if that's just for console. I saw somewhere that was just the console editions. and it looks like it's through Best Buy. That's what it looks like. So, yeah, if you go to Best Buy, it says was $29.99, and today save $25, $5, $4.99 for Xbox One and PS4, PS4 and PlayStation 5e, PS4 or 5. So if you're watching this now live, because it says it ends in about 4 hours, that flash sale. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this tomorrow, it'll be too late. So the 3 people that are watching now or whatever, if you guys want that on console, it's $5. So let's see what else is happening today. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. I don't see anything else that's groundbreaking out there. You guys hear any new stuff that I haven't heard about that I need to talk about? Either video game stuff or tabletop stuff, whatever. We're going to do something interesting today, by the way. I decided, I was like, well, what do I want to do for show and tell today? Because, I usually grab a box off the shelf or something like that. And I just happened to be in one of my closets down here where I've also got stuff stored. And this jumped out at me. And I said, yes, we're playing. Yes, Chupa, we're playing tomorrow night right here. And this jumped out at me. So I keep my gaming magazines and stuff in these kind of slipcases. And this is some of my Dragon magazines, etc. So I grabbed it and I was like, well, you know what? I haven't gone through this. I see the numbers on here, but I have no idea what's in each of those, issues and all that stuff. And I thought, well, we'll just go through it together here while on live, and we'll have some nostalgia together here. So let's start on this end. So this is okay. So this should give you. This is an issue of Dungeon, and this is on the back. That's the ad on the back. That should give you some idea of the time period that we're talking about. August 2004, and EverQuest Omens of War. That was a expansion. Looks like, and here's the cover. This is Dungeon number. And I don't know why in the world I have Dungeon magazines in this slip box, because unless I had extra room and I just stuck them in there or something. But this is the Dungeon number 113, and it says Giant Eberron poster map and first ever Eberron adventure. And this one does not have the poster map that it says in here. I've bought some of these at like bookstores and stuff like that. So most of the time, if there's any inserts like posters and that kind of stuff, game insert, that shit's all gone usually. Yeah, wherever it was, I think it was right here. It's now gone. So, but this has got Forgotten Realms, Adventure Path, and Living Greyhawk. So, for those that don't know, Living Greyhawk was an ongoing campaign, kind of. I think it started like through the mail. It was one of those through the mail campaigns that started way back in the 80s, and then I'm sure that at some point when email became a thing, it became where you could do it, through email and bulletin boards and stuff like that, and so forth. Living Greyhawk, the Knights of the Holy Shielding. All you need to know about the resolute order of knights protecting the homeland from demonic and undead armies on their borders. Although Written specifically with the RPG Network's Living Greyhawk campaign in mind, this article can be adapted to fit any campaign. So there you go. That's the first one. So Dragon Magazine initially it covered all tabletop role-playing games, whether TSR, it was produced by TSR, but even if they weren't TSR games, they would cover that in Dragon Magazine. So, you could have third-party stuff and, like Tunnels and Trolls and other RPGs from the time, Traveler, stuff like that weren't made by TSR. They would still cover. They would still do articles and stuff about them. So they covered pretty much everything. Dungeon Magazine was specifically these were adventures for generally, like this was when D20 probably was out. Yeah, D20 was coming out. But even before D20, basically it was just a periodical magazine with a bunch of adventures in it. So here is an example. Forgotten Realms Dungeon Crawl, levels 6 through 10, called Practical Magic. Right there. There's a good example. They were just a bunch of adventures for your campaigns that you could just pull from this magazine and just run them. And came out every month, just like Dragon did, but it was specifically adventures. Next, another dungeon. Looks like we got a few of them in here. Unlock the Secrets of the Soul Pillars. So this is more adventures, of course. It's Dungeon Magazine, so it's all a bunch of adventures. Cities of Adventure, Hardby, City of the Scorn. Hardby is in Greyhawk. That is a city in Greyhawk, World of Greyhawk. I have in my Greyhawk campaign, my players have been to the city of Hardby. I don't remember what all was happening there. I've got notes on it somewhere. I need to turn on my. Let's see. There we go. See if that turn on the old ring light there and see if that helps. Putting the Bold in Kobold. So just a bunch of different adventures and stuff like that. This is an ad for Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles on the back here. I don't even remember that game. That's on the back. Let's see here. This is Dungeon 112. This is Moir Castle. It says celebrating 30 years of Dungeons and Dragons. And there's that artwork for you. I have to move it in so the ring light doesn't show up on there. Giant Size Super Adventure by Robert Kuntz and Gary Gygax. Wow. Where'd they dig that up from? I guess. There's a whole thing about it's got Mordenkainen in here. There's an Eberron ad on the back. Give you some time period stuff there. I had to look into that one. That slipped past me. I didn't. So this was, by the way, later on. Dungeon was originally published by TSR. It later was published by Paizo. At a certain point. Okay, now we're getting into some dragons here. And again, I grabbed this box just at random. Now these are ones that I bought. These are mine that I originally bought when they came out. And that's why the inserts are still in here. Those other ones I think I got at a game store or something. Used. This is Dragon 116. There's the cover. And it says the high seas and a 3D sailing ship. Wild animals and Doctor Who, all 6. So this even has an article about Doctor Who in it. See? So Yeah, this actually has an insert that I never punched for a 3D sailing ship. That actually would have come in handy. We've had some shipborne adventures. There's some more of it. We've actually had some shipborne adventures in my campaign where we could have used that. I also have a Lego pirate ship that I need to put together for that reason, so that um, the anything that takes place on a ship, you can have that on your tabletop with, "Hey, Mister, how are you?" And on the back, for just give you an idea, this has got Rollmaster stuff by ICE on the back. Rollmaster was a bunch of third-party gaming aids for D&D, etc. back in the day. How are things with you, Mister? Let's see here. So this is Dragon 115. And to catch you up, Mister, I found a box in my closet of random D&D stuff, Dragon magazines and stuff like that. So we're going through it together here, because I haven't looked through these in quite a while. So again, this is 115, and it says all about thieves. So there's an article in here all about thieves, which is what rogues in 5th edition used to be called. We back in us old school D&D players, we still call them thieves. And then harpies and snakes. So they would do an article called Monster Ecology, and I'm guessing that harpies and snakes are the monster ecology for this particular issue. And they would just go a deep dive into that particular creature or whatever. And then top secret game advice. Top secret TM, meaning for the top secret role-playing game that TSR also produced. There's some artwork. There's some cool art. There's the thieves. Here's the thieves article that they're talking about, and there's some cool artwork for the beginning of the article. So, yeah, the old dragons were incredible. Let's see here. Mistress says, I am going for the platinum trophy for 14. Just got the trophy being for creating 1,000 alchemy items. So remind me, Mistra, in Final Fantasy 14, when you're crafting, is there a way to mass produce things, or is that 1,000 one at a time that you had to craft? Or do you have it where you can queue them up? Say you want to queue up 50 at a time or something and hit a button and it'll create 50. Because doing them single-handedly like that would be something, man. To have to do that 1,000 times individually. Here's Dragon 114. There's some cool artwork there. And if you notice here, it says you can do quick synthesis, but only 99 at a time. Does take a while, though. Okay. Now, the next question is, if you do say 99 at a time, are you less able to maybe customize the item as much as you want if you're mass producing them like that? Whereas if you did them individually, you could take more time and actually are there more customizing options if you do them individually? Because like in Star Wars Galaxies, right now I'm doing some crafting, and you can do it two different ways. You can, at the crafting station, you can craft one at a time items, and you can experiment on each one to try and get better stats and better whatever. And there's different categories that you can put those experimentation points into and all that. And when you find one that say you experiment successfully on and all that, it will allow you to, it'll say, do you want to make a prototype or do you want to make a schematic? If you make a schematic, you can take that you put a lot of time and effort into with experimentation and customizing and all that, and you can make a schematic that will make 1,000 of those in a factory. And then you have factories that you have to place on your property or whatever, and you can load that schematic in there. And you have to make sure you have exactly the right amount of resources that you made that schematic with, they have to match. And you have to be able to you have to have enough resources to make 1,000. And you have to load all of that into the factory with the schematic, and then you can literally mass produce. And it does it. Some stuff can take 2 days for a full factory run. So that's why I was asking that question. You can do one at a time as a prototype, or you can make a factory run. And yeah, so manually I could get 1,000 high quality items instead of what I got, which was 12. Okay, got it. So there's advantages, yeah, got it. Okay. Yeah, see, the disadvantage with what I was just describing is you got to make sure you have. So let's say that each item takes 12 copper, and you're going to make a run of 1,000 of those items. You got to have 12,000 of that exact copper, and there's dozens of different type of copper in Star Wars Galaxies that you can get from mining and so forth with all different stats. So you have to have 12,000 of that exact copper to load into the fact, which is not unheard of, but you just got to make sure you do, or they won't produce. So it's very detailed. Yeah. So, but anyway, we got kind of sidetracked there. Back to Dragon 114. This one has Return of the Witch, the Elven Cavalier, and Ecology of the Remoras. And as I was saying about the monster ecologies, they do one every issue. They did a different monster, and it sounds like Return of the Witch as probably the witch as a player class, I'm guessing. And let's see here. And the Elven Cavalier was also looks like a player class. So, and it also has another top secret article in here too. So, and it had an ad for Middle Earth role playing, MERP as it was called, on the back there. Jesse T is checked in. Hello, Jesse. So you remember that too, huh, Jesse? The old monster ecologies and all these. This is Dragon 112 on this one. There's some more artwork for you there. Nice cover. The Ultimate Article Index, Mesozoic Monsters Galore, and Computer Game Column. So this is a special one because I think this might be the first time that they started covering computer games. Let's see here. This has a Star Frontiers article in it, a Marvel Superheroes article, a Armor Piece by Piece, The Role of Computers, our second foray into the world of electronic role-playing games. So let's see. We go to 23 here. The Role of Computers. See if they talk about anything specific here. They're showing some very basic old. This is like when Zork and stuff like that, I think, was out. Maybe a little bit more advanced past Zork, but not too much. I don't know if this will come out, but you got a couple screens there that you can see. So this was, I don't know what month and year this was. Does it give me a month and year here? Let's see here. Sometimes they did in August 1986. Okay. I was in the Army. Here's Dragon 117. This is some real, particularly nice piece of artwork. I like this. Check that out. I dig that. Creative campaigns, tanks and trivia, sage advice, and bizarre of the bizarre. Bunch of different articles on all different things here. Let's see here. So I think you can get the Elements of Mystery, limited information campaigns, and role-playing games. So it sounds like they're talking about putting elements in your campaign that says limited information. So they may be talking about stuff like clues that the PCs can find, or um, perhaps they find an NPC and they begin to interrogate them, but the uh, an assassin, let's say, shoots a poison arrow while the guy is talking, and some assassin silences him with a poison arrow from a distance, so that you only get part of the information. I haven't even read the article. These are just ideas that are coming to my head. Um, but that's probably what it's talking about, is ways to put that into your campaign. So um, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Let's see what else we got here. Just Mistara says, I never thought I'd do it, but by the way, but now I play a healer in 14. For like 20 years, played DPS only. Well, so you and I we were in the same boat, because I only played on stuff like that, like World of Warcraft or that. I only play DPS because I don't want to have the responsibility of healing people, and I don't want to have the responsibility of tanking, because I'm not confident enough in my gameplay to do either of those roles without, you know, um, letting the stress get to me. I'd prefer to just DPS the shit out of stuff. So I would be in your boat. For me, switching to healer would be a big deal. It would take a lot for me to do that. So if that was you, you got more guts than I do, Mister. um, Dragon Magazine added so much to our games back then. I have many. Yeah, I don't have the full run. I would love to eventually have. There was over 300 Dragon magazines produced, and I probably have somewhere between 200, maybe 225, if that. I mean, I'm gonna say 200 probably. So I'm missing quite a few. Here's a newer dragon here. This looks like during third edition. Let's see if it has. And this was done by. So Paizo did dragon at a certain point too. I forgot about that. This does not say it has a date here. September 2006. So this is much more much newer than the other ones were, but they were still doing the ecologies in here. So there's your artwork, and 36 elemental hazards, 8 creatures of ice, magma, ooze, and smoke, inside a trip to Wizards of the Coast. Oh, so they went inside the actual headquarters probably, and ecology of the elemental weird. So they were still doing the ecologies, and 7 spells of elemental evil. So you got a lot of you did get a lot of content for a big bang for your buck with these old magazines. So we're down to just a couple here. Here's another newer one. This one looks like this one was November 2006. I like the color scheme on this, the Druid Ranger colors, as I like to call it, green and brown and all that. It's a jungle in here, playing the Savage Tide Adventure Path. Bows and Crossbows, a comprehensive guide. Dagon Arises, Demons from the Darkest Oceans. Final Fantasy 7, right there. I'm guessing they were covering computer games, I'm guessing, or video games and computer games. Final Fantasy 7. So, see if I can find that. If they see, I don't see the actual article where it would be in here, but it sounds like they were talking about it somewhere in here. So let's see what's on the back here. Yeah, so there is a game called Aragon for Xbox, PlayStation, DS, Game Boy Advance. That was by Sierra. That company's no longer around. Well, so this was 2006, but for some reason, oh no, I take that back. I read those numbers wrong. Final Fantasy 12. I was reading the Roman numerals backwards. That's actually Final Fantasy 12. I was reading it wrong. I wish I could find that. It's got to be in here somewhere. I wonder if it's under the gamer guide. Let's see here. There's a poison making guide in here. There's you could probably still use this for 5th edition. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I can't find. They have it on the cover, but I don't find anything inside here that like they covered it like with a any kind of an article or anything. That kind of pisses me off. I was sure that they would have it in here, but yeah, nowhere in here do I see it. If it's in here, it's hidden. So anyway, so there's that. This one is December 2006. Ecology of the Clockwork Horror on here. And this one is Watch Out for Ouijas, Goddess of Death and Magic, 4 new Forgotten Realms races, 7 magical monsters. And then you got into something special here. These were the best ofs. Yeah, I'm going to look through that a little bit more, Mister, when I have some time and see if I can find that, because I really want to see if I can find that. If they have it on the cover, they should have it on the inside too. Dungeon number 1 was 86. Okay. Dragon number 1 was like in the 70s. So, but I have 3 of these in this box, and I think these are duplicates because I think I have these elsewhere too. This is the very first Best of the Dragon, and this is from the Strategic Review and Dragon Volumes 1 and 2. So this is going way back. Was talking with some friends about D&D the other night. They were shocked to learn that Tiamat eats her babies if they have more than one head. That's the first I'd ever heard of that. I believe you, though. That makes perfect sense for Tiamat. Let's see here. What's the date on here? I think this was in 1980. So this is the best of, the very first best of, and that came out in 1980. And that goes through, like I said, even the Strategic Review, which was before Dragon Magazine. And this is like stuff going way back. Like there's your Hobgoblin right there. So this one's old. Yeah, I'm gonna be careful with this one. I don't know if this is probably worth a little something. So you got that one. I've also got volume 2 and 3 in here, and these are duplicates. I've got the full set somewhere separately. This one is from the first 4 years of Dragon Magazine, and this one is from out of print issues. And then I have 4 and 5 also. So yeah, if you can pick these up, you're getting some of the best of the best when you get the best of the dragons there. And then um, this one's damaged. I got this somewhere for like 50 cents, I think. Um, but because it was the cover's cut and everything, and this is a Dragon magazine, and this has Wheel of Time uh, role playing game, which I know nothing of. I did not read the Wheel of Time. I watched the first episode of the series. I've got to finish it. But I was quite intrigued by the first episode of the series. So, are any of you watching the Wheel of Time series on Amazon? Because like I said, I didn't read the books. A lot of people read the books, and I'm sure that they are usually when they make a movie or TV show based on something from books, people are usually disappointed. So I don't know if this is the case here with people that have read it. But I do have a question for those of you that may have watched it, whether you read the books or not. The main character, the main female character, I can't think of the character's name right now, but she's the one in the town when the town got attacked. She's the one that basically is a badass magic user. And she started casting all kinds of spells trying to defend the town. And well, she did end up defending the town. But my question is, number one, would you call her a magic user, a mage, a sorceress, warlock? What would you categorize her as? And then how high of a level do you think she would have to be to cast the way she did? Jesse T says, I've seen a couple of my friends who read the books don't like it. Okay. Yeah. So I think that it probably bodes well for me that I didn't read the books, and so I can just enjoy it for what it is on TV. But I was really interested about that magic user. It was, I mean, she was doing fireball, she was doing call lightning, she was doing all kinds of shit back to back. So, in your opinion, if anybody's watched it, what do you think? Because I would say she would have to be able to cast that many spells of that high a level. Um, I'm guessing she's got to be like somewhere around level 12, 13. I'm talking about OD&D. I'm talking about like first edition D&D. I don't know about fifth edition, but fifth edition, I have no. Maybe fifth edition, she wouldn't have to be that high level, because I know that fifth edition is a lot more forgiving when it comes to stuff like that. But like first edition, you only get so many spell slots per day of each, and so many per level of that level. So for her to just sit there and keep casting spells, high level spells back to back, she'd have to be pretty high level. I'm guessing like around 13, 12, 13, somewhere in there. Mistress is 16, maybe. I mean, maybe require that. That's a high level in first edition. That's ridiculous, a ridiculously high level character. So, um, I would put her almost in like a demigod uh, uh, level type stuff. Um, so, and I'm not saying that is not possible because her character is supposed to be this really powerful character. So, but I was kind of surprised because even with like Gandalf, remember when you watched Lord of the Rings and all that, and you read the books and all that, Gandalf would cast a spell once in a while, but he wasn't out there casting them nonstop. He wasn't out there fireballing and lightning bolting and call lightning and he wasn't doing that much. Not like that. And now some people say, well, Gandalf was a fighter magic user. So um, but could you imagine if you watched both of those characters, the one from Wheel of Time, where she's in the middle of that town, casting back to back spells and all that, if Gandalf would have had that kind of power, like when they were getting attacked in Moria and stuff like that, I mean, yeah, he went up against the Balrog and everything else, but he fell. He did not. We didn't see him blast the Balrog, you know, into oblivion. No, the he fought the Balrog, and the the Balrog fell and grabbed him with him and took him down. Um, but we didn't see like this character in Wheel of Time where she's just going bam bam, just back and back, So that's why I'm saying she's got to be pretty high level. So anyway, so this is probably the newest. I don't even know when this one was done. This is this is the D20 Special Annual 6 2001. So this was an annual. Yeah, so annual 6 2001. So yeah, this one says exclusive previous Call of Cthulhu, Pulp Heroes, Godlike. D20 Bonanza, Freeport, Dragonstar, Arcanus, Sun and Scale. Plus guns, it says. Well, we didn't have, in my campaign, we do not have gunpowder or guns. So, they have all those character stats in the MERP books. So, I never got any of the MERP stuff, Jesse. So, so Gandalf, they actually give him a stat block and everything. I may have to find out if I can find that and buy some MERP stuff then, because that would be interesting. Saruman would probably be higher level than Gandalf until Gandalf goes white. I agree with that. Yep. Yeah, that's one of the regrets that I have from my game collecting and playing and all that other stuff is I never, for whatever reason, I can't even explain. I have no memory of why I never bought any of the Middle Earth role playing stuff. I don't know why. It was always there at the game store when I would buy other stuff. And it might have just been that I had a limited amount of money and I was like, well, I need this stuff for my D&D campaign and I can't afford to get this and the MERP stuff. I don't know. And I'm afraid to go on to eBay now and find out what that stuff costs to buy it because it's all out of print and buy it used, but it would be interesting to see. There was another game system called Thieves World, based on some books by the same name, Thieves World, by, I want to say Robert Aspirin was the guy's name, and that was another one that I regret not getting. That the Thieves World game system. So the MERP stuff and the Thieves World stuff. Those are the two I wish I would have bought. Lord of the Rings is truly timeless. What legendary fiction it is. Yeah, they'll be talking about, they'll be reading, watching the movies, having discussions about it 100 years from now. They'll still be, the new generations of nerds after we're long gone will still be talking about Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Alethra says, I had a MERP box set at one time. Let's see here. What rules are those levels based on? You talking about the levels I was talking about where I thought that whatever that character from Wheel of Time, the TV show, she would have to be like, I'm saying like level 13. I'm talking about first edition AD&D. First or second edition. They're pretty much interchangeable. That's the level. Now in 5th edition, I have no idea. Maybe she might be a lower level character in 5th edition. So let's see here. Oh, I see. I missed Jesse up here. If I remember correct, Gandalf is 30, level 50 when became white. Oh wow. Yeah, that's what I missed, is what Mister was actually asking Jesse. Okay. Wow. Yeah, you're right, because people are watching the movies for the first time on YouTube, reaction channels, and other channels, just random channels that don't do reactions even. Yeah, that's kind of blowing my mind because, you know, I caught some of that too, on reaction channels, like people reacting to stuff that I'm like, how are you just reacting to something Prince, like Prince's music? Like you never you never heard anything by Prince? How is that possible? I know they're young and all that, but still, Prince is Prince, you know? Um, he made incredible iconic music, and it's like or Michael Jackson or something like that. So, and people are just reacting to like because they never heard it. It's like just reminds me how old I am. That's all that does. So, yeah, I don't know how many times I've seen it, Mister. I have no idea. I mean, I have not kept count. I mean, and how many times have I watched it like start to finish the whole series? Maybe 5 or 6, but if I'm going through the channels and all of a sudden I see it's on some channel somewhere and I catch it, I'm liable to just leave it there and just catch part of it, or whatever. So I don't know how many times I've done that. So, but anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed seeing some of these old. That was just a random thing. I saw that box and today, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna go through that while we're uh, on live, and everything that I have, all this stuff, I use everything as source material. So, which is one of the reasons why stuff like the the Rollmaster MERP stuff, not having it available to me, I would love to somehow incorporate some of that stuff into my campaign, even though it's a different rule system. The content can still be um, exported and imported from campaign to campaign. You can always make adjustments. Like you were saying that Gandalf is level 30, level 50 when he becomes white. That's in that role system. But just looking at the stat block that they create would give me ideas on okay, what would the equivalence of that be in say first edition AD&D or something. So yeah, Sauron would be well, yeah, because so like in first edition AD&D Mistra, when you get into stuff like the gods and demigods, like deities and demigods and stuff like that, when you get into like all the different mythologies, like Greek mythology and Norse and everything else, and you get characters like Odin and Zeus and Aphrodite and all the different gods and demigods, Thor and all that. They don't just keep going up like that. They so like Odin, I think he's considered one of the most powerful of all time in that mythology. Um, and I believe he's like a 20th level magic user, or 20th level or 25th level fighter, or 30th level fighter. Every class, they're high level in every class. Like if I can pull that out one of these days and like so like somebody like Thor, who's considered in deities and demigods book, he's considered a lesser god, I think. Um, Whereas like Poseidon's a greater god, Odin's a greater god, etc. Um, but say Thor would be like a 30th level fighter and a 20th level cleric and a 15th level ranger I mean, so that's how they do it in is they just so they don't just keep going up in one class to like level 100 or something like that. No, they're like a 30th level fighter and like a 20th level magic user plus all this other shit. So yeah. So they all get like spells. They can use spells. They have these super powerful magic items. I mean, yeah, it gets ridiculous. But that's as it should be because that's why they're a god, right? That's why they're a deity. So so like Sauron from Lord of the Rings, he would be a greater god, an evil god, but nevertheless in D&D terms, he would be a greater god, a greater demon, greater devil, whatever you want to call him. And uh, or undead or whatever the hell, the category they want to put him in. But and he would have like the powers of like this level fighter, this level magic user, this level cleric, so like Asmodeus, yes. Um, exactly. So I get a drink here. So I can hear the wife upstairs, which means I can have a cocktail now. Um, so I'm trying to drink this up. I bought this for Christmas time, and I figured I'd show it to you guys because I'm trying to drink it up. This is German Christmas wine. It's called glue wine, and this is the blueberry version of that. And it's basically called it's like a mulled wine. Um, and you can see the little like Christmas village or like medieval village like they got here. And the reason this thing is a thing is that the German Christmas markets over there where you go do your Christmas shopping out in these outdoor Christmas markets, it's cold. There's snow everywhere, everything else. And you can buy, and it's served warm. You drink this warm. And so it's warm, and it's a really sweet wine. So it's basically real warm, sweet wine to help keep you warm while you're walking around doing your shopping. Um, and it's called glue wine. And I love this stuff from Germany. But it's only available at least here around Christmas time. So I bought a regular one and I bought the blueberry one. And around Christmas time was when we had the regular one. And now, because I don't know how long this stuff keeps, may keep for a long time, but I don't know. I'm just trying to drink it up because I don't want it to go bad. So, um, and it's a cheap wine. It's not like expensive or anything. It's just meant for, and it's not real strong on alcohol either. So, but it does the job of keeping you warm on a cold winter's night. There's my wine goblet here. Cheers. Supposed to drink that warm, but I'm not going to go try and heat it up. So, let's see. Bastille says, AJ, I'm looking for demographics for Keeland. It's a location in Greyhawk. I'm very familiar with it. Any advice on where I could look? So, yes. So if you, let's see if I can find one real quick, and I'll put a link in the chat box. So the Greyhawk folios or the original Greyhawk box set, either one. Let's see here. So I don't know if I have mentioned this before, but there is a big resource for Greyhawk stuff called Cannon Fire. And Cannon Fire is your best bet if you don't want to have to buy a product or whatever. But let's see here. I'm trying to find out. I don't know if this helps you, but I'm going to put this in here. So there's that. But Cannon Fire, if you just Google Cannon Fire, I will. You should be able. This should be able to help you. So between those two things, that should be able to help you. And if not, if you want to buy a product, you want to get like and you can do it on Drive Through RPG, the PDF, or you can even do a soft cover uh, um, print on demand that they will print and send it to you. Um, the uh, the folio, the Greyhawk folio, or the Greyhawk box set, the first box set. Either one of those will have exactly what you're looking for. It has all of the demographics for all the different towns, areas, all that stuff. So, yeah, the cool part about this goblet here is this stainless steel part right here. I'm not gonna do it now because it's full. This comes out, and you can just wash that or put it in the dishwasher or whatever, and then put it right back in. You don't have to wash the whole thing. You just take the insert out. And if you're looking for one of these to buy, you can usually find them um, anytime there's a convention, like Comic Con or anything like that. There's usually booths where they're selling this kind of stuff with the inserts that come out. Um, so yeah, I hope that helps you, Bastille. And if not, you can always DM me. Don't forget, guys, and I gotta remember whenever I restart my rig, I have to remember that I have to start up my Discord channel again, because I always forget. So I need to do that right now. As soon as I can find my shortcut for it. There it is. So I do have a Discord. So you can always send me a DM if you want, Bastille, if you still need more help. But that's yeah, I got a bunch of notifications on Discord, of course, because I haven't had the damn thing on. Okay. So let's see here. I should, of course, see if I can remember how to do this here. I want to let's do this. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Here is a link to anybody that's still in here that wants a link to my Discord. There's my Discord. And I got to remember to keep it active because I always, when I restart my rig, I forget to start it up again. So, and I don't like putting stuff in the auto startup in Windows because I just think it ends up hogging too much memory when you do it that way. So, because I'm sure everybody's thinking, well, why don't you just put it auto start, when Windows starts? But I just don't do that. Let's see here. Let's go back here. I heard one new message. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Got one person joining already. Right on. Okay, we're coming up on an hour here. It's going to be time to go have dinner with the wife. So, any questions on anything that we talked about? Up to and including wine or this goblet, or this was my goblet every week. I didn't care what I was drinking. I could have been drinking water. It was going in this when Game of Thrones was on. Game of Thrones was in its heyday. When Game of Thrones was coming on, my wife would go upstairs and she would go up and watch TV in the bedroom because she knew that I was going to have Game of Thrones blasting, and she didn't want nothing to do with it. So, and no matter what I was drinking, I was usually drinking beer, but no matter what it was going in this goblet because just like Tyrion, um, I drink and I know things. I made the mistake. I don't know if I told you guys this story before. Um, oh, that sucks, Bastille. That's happened to us many times. So, um, I usually get a credit from DoorDash when that happens, but I don't know if I told you this, but the first time I got this was middle of the series of Game of Thrones. My wife was upstairs in the living room, and she was watching something, and I didn't want to disturb her. I needed to get caught up, so I just streamed HBO Max on my computer to get caught up on Game of Thrones. Like there was 2 episodes I missed or something like that, and it was like 7 o'clock at night or something like that. And I decided while I was watching these 2 episodes, I said, I am going to take a drink every time Tyrion Lannister takes a drink, just to see what would happen. Needless to say, I was shit faced. Obviously, it's just the character. It's not the actor is probably not drinking, but I just thought we'll just see if I wasn't taking big drinks or whatever, but I was just taking a drink every time he would take a drink. Uh, and that character Tyrion, they had him drinking non goddamn stuff. You when you're going drink for drink with Tyrion, that's how you figure out how much they had him consuming. That was a funny, and I was doing it out of this goblet right here. So, all right, guys, I think that'll do it. Um, I don't see any other questions or anything like that. So, until next time, then, we will catch you on the flip side. Cheers, guys.